When the storms of life hit us, they rarely knock on the door politely, they arrive unannounced, shaking our balance, stirring up our emotions, clouding our clarity, and making us feel powerless. Maybe you know that feeling, waking up with a heavy heart, carrying burdens that no one else can see, pretending to smile while your mind is drowning in noise. We've all been there. And sometimes, it feels like there's no way out. But there always is. And today, I want to walk with you into a different way of seeing, a different way of living, a path that can heal your mind and restore your spirit. It's not about escaping life, but about transforming how you live it. This is the wisdom of Shi Heng Yi, and these are the powerful techniques that can change the very landscape of your inner world. Think about this. Every person carries invisible wounds. Some are born from childhood experiences, some from heartbreak, some from rejection, and some from failures we replay again and again in our minds. These wounds don't bleed on the outside, but they can hurt more than any physical injury. They shape the way we think, the way we act, the way we love, and if they're left unhealed, they whisper to us daily, "You are not enough, you will never be enough." But this is not the truth. The truth is, healing is possible, and not just possible, it is within your reach right now. Shi Heng Yi often reminds us that the mind is like water. When the water is calm, you can see your reflection clearly, but when the water is agitated, when storms of fear, anger or sadness disturb it, you lose sight of who you really are. Healing begins with calming the waters of the mind, and this is not something that happens overnight. It is a practice, a journey, a daily choice. So today, as you listen to these words, I invite you to take a deep breath, allow yourself to pause, because this moment, this very breath, is the doorway to your healing. Let's start here with acceptance. The first step to healing your mind is not to fight what you feel, but to accept it. When you are sad, let sadness be there. When you are angry, acknowledge the anger. When you are tired, honor the exhaustion. Too often, we try to push away our feelings, pretending they don't exist, hoping they will dissolve if we ignore them. But emotions are like children. If you neglect them, they scream louder. If you listen, they soften. Acceptance is not weakness. It is courage. It is standing in front of your pain and saying, "I see you, and I am still here." Shi Heng Yi teaches that every emotion carries a message. Fear warns you of danger. Anger points to injustice. Sadness reveals what you have loved and lost. Even anxiety, as uncomfortable as it is, shines a light on what matters to you. But when we drown in emotions without understanding their messages, we suffer. Healing begins when you stop running and start listening. Instead of asking, "Why am I feeling this?" ask, "What is this feeling trying to teach me?" That single question transforms pain into wisdom, chaos into clarity. But knowing this is only the beginning. The real transformation happens through practice. Shi Heng Yi often shares the ancient principle of small steps, that healing is not achieved through one grand decision, but through daily intentional actions. Just as a drop of water, falling consistently, can carve through stone, your small practices, repeated daily, can carve new pathways in your mind. Imagine beginning your mornings not with endless scrolling, but with a moment of silence, breathing deeply, setting an intention for the day. Imagine pausing during stressful moments, not to escape into distractions, but to simply breathe and ground yourself. Imagine ending each day not with guilt for what went wrong, but with gratitude for one thing that went right. These are small, almost invisible steps, but over time they reshape you. Many people ask, "But how do I quiet my mind? How do I stop the endless thoughts, the worries that never leave me alone?" The truth is, you don't need to stop your thoughts. The mind's nature is to think. What you need is to change your relationship with your thoughts. Shi Heng Yi explains this beautifully. You are not the clouds in the sky. You are the sky itself. Thoughts are clouds, some light and gentle, some dark and heavy. They come, they go, but they are not you. You are the vast, open sky in which they appear. When you realize this, thoughts lose their power over you. You no longer need to fight them. You simply let them pass. Think about how freeing that is. Imagine living without clinging to every worry, without believing every negative thought that crosses your mind. Imagine being able to observe your fear without letting it control you. This is the essence of healing, not erasing the storms, but learning to stand strong while they pass. The storm may rage, but the sky remains unbroken. You are that sky. And as you listen to this now, I want you to remember, there is nothing broken in you that cannot be healed. No wound too deep, no scar too permanent. The fact that you are here, searching for healing, listening, learning, this is proof of your strength. Healing does not mean you will never feel pain again. It means pain will no longer define you. It will no longer be the cage that traps you, but the teacher that frees you. So, let this be the beginning. Let this be the moment where you choose not to drown in your suffering, but to rise above it. Let this be the seed of healing planted in your mind today. You don't need to know how the entire journey will unfold. You just need to take one step, and that step begins with awareness, with breathing, with remembering that you are not alone. Others have walked this path before you. Shi Heng Yi has walked this path, and now you are walking it too. Healing is not about rushing. It is not a race you must win, nor a mountain you must conquer in a single day. It is a journey, and journeys take time. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is simply give yourself permission to slow down, to breathe, to realize that you are allowed to take life one step at a time. Too often, society tells us we must always be moving, always achieving, always producing, but what about simply being? What about learning to rest in the silence of your own presence, to accept yourself as you are, without needing to prove anything to anyone? Shi Heng Yi often speaks about the art of stillness. In a world that never stops, stillness becomes a rebellion, a medicine for the restless mind. Imagine yourself sitting quietly, no phone in your hand, no noise around you, no one demanding your attention. At first it feels uncomfortable. The mind begins to chatter, throwing unfinished tasks, regrets and worries at you. But if you stay, if you breathe through it, something magical happens. The storm inside begins to soften. The mind slows down, the heart opens. This is where healing begins, in the courage to face your own silence without running away. You see, most of us are not truly living. We are simply reacting to messages, to deadlines, to opinions, to stress, and in the constant reaction, we forget how to live intentionally. Healing your mind requires you to reclaim your power of choice. You may not control what life throws at you, but you always control how you respond. Shi Heng Yi explains this beautifully, with a simple teaching: between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies your freedom. Think about that. Every time life challenges you, there is a pause, a space before you react. In that pause, you can choose anger or patience, fear or courage, despair or hope. That space is where transformation begins. Now let's go deeper. Many people carry invisible chains of the past. Maybe you were hurt by someone you trusted. Maybe you failed at something important. Maybe you made mistakes you regret, and those memories live in your mind like ghosts, whispering lies, holding you back. The weight of the past can be crushing, but Shi Heng Yi reminds us, the past is gone. It cannot touch you unless you keep carrying it. Imagine holding a heavy stone in your hand. The longer you hold it, the heavier it feels. Eventually, your arm begins to ache, but the moment you let go, the burden disappears. The past is like that stone. Healing means learning to let go, not to forget, not to erase, but to release your grip so it no longer controls you. Forgiveness is a powerful part of this process. Not only forgiveness of others, but forgiveness of yourself. Many of us are harshest with ourselves. We replay our mistakes, punish ourselves for not being perfect, criticize every flaw, but true healing cannot exist without compassion. You must learn to speak to yourself the way you would speak to a dear friend. Would you tell a hurting friend, "You are worthless, you are weak, you are not enough"? Of course not. You would comfort them, encourage them, remind them of their worth. So why do we speak to ourselves with such cruelty? Healing begins when you replace self-criticism with self-compassion. Every time you catch yourself saying, "I can't change it," to "I am learning." Every time you hear the voice of judgment, replace it with kindness. Shi Heng Yi often shares stories from his Shaolin tradition to remind us of this truth. Imagine a bamboo tree. For the first years after planting the seed, nothing seems to happen. The tree remains hidden beneath the soil, invisible to the eye. But deep underground, roots are growing strong, preparing for growth. Then, suddenly, in just a few weeks, the bamboo shoots up meters into the sky. Healing is like the bamboo tree. Sometimes you don't see progress. You still feel pain, you still face struggles, you still wonder if anything is changing. but beneath the surface, your roots are strengthening, preparing for growth. And one day, the transformation will become visible. You just need patience, persistence, and trust. Let's talk about persistence. Healing requires discipline. This may not sound comforting at first, but it is the truth. Just as the body becomes stronger through consistent training, the mind becomes healthier through consistent practice. Shi Heng Yi often teaches the power of daily rituals. A ritual does not need to be complicated. It can be as simple as 10 minutes of mindful breathing, or writing down 3 things you are grateful for, or practicing gentle movements to release tension. The point is consistency. When you practice daily, even in small ways, you reprogram your mind. You teach it calmness, clarity, and strength. But what about setbacks? What about the days when the pain comes back, when old wounds reopen, when anxiety feels unbearable? This is where many people give up, believing healing is impossible. But listen carefully. Setbacks are not failures. They are part of the process. Healing is not a straight line, it is a spiral. You may revisit old wounds, but each time you do, you are stronger, wiser, and more prepared to face them. Every setback is an opportunity to practice resilience, to prove to yourself that you can rise again. Think of a warrior who falls in battle. The warrior does not quit because they fell once. They rise, they learn, they continue, and so must you. Shi Heng Yi uses the metaphor of water to describe resilience. Water can crash with force, breaking through rocks, but water can also flow gently, finding its way around obstacles. No matter how many times it is blocked, it finds another path. Be like water, flexible, adaptable, unstoppable. When life blocks your way, don't resist with anger. Flow around it, find another way, keep moving. That is resilience. Now I want you to imagine something. Imagine standing on a mountain, looking at the horizon. The air is fresh, the sky is vast, and for a moment, all your worries disappear. In that stillness, you realize how small your problems are compared to the infinite beauty of existence. This is the perspective Shi Heng Yi invites us to embrace. When your mind is trapped in pain, your world becomes small, narrow, suffocating. But when you step back, when you breathe, when you connect with something greater than yourself, whether it is nature, spirituality, or simple presence, your problems shrink. They don't disappear, but they no longer control you. Healing is expanding your vision, remembering that life is bigger than your suffering. And as you walk this journey, remember this: you are not alone. Everyone you meet is fighting battles you cannot see. Behind every smile is a story. Behind every silence is a struggle. We are all human, we are all wounded, and we are all seeking healing. This shared humanity connects us. Shi Heng Yi often reminds us of the importance of community, of walking together, supporting each other, learning from one another. Healing is not only personal, it is collective. When you heal yourself, you also bring healing energy to others, and when others heal, they inspire you in return. So today, as you listen to these words, I want you to know you are stronger than you think. The fact that you are here, seeking healing, proves your courage. Do not underestimate the power of this moment. Right now, you are planting seeds. Seeds of awareness, seeds of resilience, seeds of peace, and with time, with patience, with practice, those seeds will grow into a forest of strength within you. You will look back one day and realize how far you've come. For now, stay present, stay gentle with yourself, stay open to the wisdom of each experience. Healing is not something you chase. It is something you allow. By slowing down, by breathing, by choosing compassion over judgment, you create space for healing to enter, and in that space, miracles can happen. Remember the words of Shi Heng Yi: the mind is everything. If you master your mind, you master your life. Sometimes, the mind feels like a prison. We wake up, and before the day has even begun, thoughts rush in, doubts, fears, regrets, unfinished tasks. The weight is heavy, and no matter what we do, the bars of that mental prison seem unshakable. But here is the truth: the prison is an illusion. The bars are built not from steel, but from thoughts, and thoughts can be reshaped. Shi Heng Yi reminds us that the mind is both our greatest obstacle and our greatest ally. If we let it wander uncontrolled, it enslaves us. But if we train it with discipline, it becomes the most powerful tool for freedom. Training the mind begins with awareness. Imagine a candle in a dark room. At first, the flame flickers, unsteady, easily disturbed by the slightest movement of air. But with time, with protection, the flame steadies, burns brighter, lights up the whole room. Your awareness is that candle. At first, it feels weak. You forget to breathe. You slip back into negative thoughts. You lose focus. But with practice, awareness grows stronger. Soon you begin to notice your thoughts without being consumed by them. You catch yourself before anger takes over. You notice anxiety rising, but you choose to breathe instead of panic. This is the beginning of true freedom. Shi Heng Yi often explains that awareness is like standing at a crossroads. Every thought, every emotion, every impulse invites you down a certain path. Without awareness, you follow blindly. With awareness, you choose. You are no longer a victim of your mind. You become the master. Think about how powerful that is. Imagine the strength of being able to feel anger, but not let it control your words. Imagine feeling fear, but still taking the step forward. Imagine facing uncertainty, and still choosing peace. This is not fantasy. It is the reality of a trained mind. But training the mind is not always easy. It requires patience, discipline, and above all, consistency. This is where many people stumble. They meditate once or practice breathing for a few days, and when they don't see immediate results, they give up. But Shi Heng Yi reminds us of an important truth. The body needs exercise to stay strong. The mind is no different. You would never expect your muscles to grow from a single workout. Why expect your mind to transform overnight? Healing the mind requires the same dedication, the same daily training, the same persistence. Let's go deeper into discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. When you discipline your mind, you are not restricting yourself. You are liberating yourself from chaos. Think of a wild horse. Untamed, it runs everywhere, exhausting itself, crashing into obstacles. But with training, the horse becomes powerful, focused, unstoppable. The mind is the same. Without discipline, it drags you into anxiety, distraction, and suffering. With discipline, it carries you toward peace, clarity, and strength. So, how do you begin? Start small. Begin with one practice each day. It could be 10 minutes of mindful breathing, where you simply notice the air entering and leaving your body. It could be a gratitude ritual, where you write down 3 things that made you smile. It could be a gentle physical practice, like walking slowly, feeling each step, each movement, each breath. The practice itself does not matter as much as the consistency. Each time you practice, you are rewiring your mind, teaching it calmness, teaching it clarity. Shi Heng Yi often says that the path to mastery lies in simplicity. Don't complicate the process, don't chase 1,000 different techniques, choose one and dedicate yourself to it. A river carves through rock not by force, but by persistence. The same is true for your mind. Small, consistent effort creates lasting change. But along the journey, you will meet resistance. Your mind will tell you, this is too hard. This is pointless. Nothing is changing. When this happens, remember, the voice of resistance is not truth. It is simply the mind's habit of clinging to what is familiar, even if it causes pain. Change feels uncomfortable because the mind resists what it doesn't know, but discomfort is a sign of growth. Every time you feel that resistance, remind yourself, this is not a wall, this is a doorway. On the other side of discomfort is transformation. Let's pause here for something important: self-talk. The way you speak to yourself matters more than you realize. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds. When you constantly tell yourself, I can't, I'm weak, I'll never heal, you are planting seeds of doubt, and those seeds grow into forests of despair. But when you tell yourself, I am learning, I am healing, I am strong enough, you plant seeds of hope, and hope is the beginning of every miracle. Healing your mind means changing your inner language. Treat your words like medicine. Every day, give yourself doses of kindness, of encouragement, of strength. Shi Heng Yi uses a simple yet powerful practice: affirmations linked with breath. For example, as you inhale, say silently, I am calm. As you exhale, say, I release fear. With every breath, you train your body and mind to believe it. Over time, this becomes natural, automatic. The mind begins to mirror the words you feed it, and this is the essence of healing, changing the story you tell yourself. Now let's explore a deeper truth. The mind is shaped by what you focus on. If you constantly feed it fear, it becomes fearful. If you feed it gratitude, it becomes peaceful. What you focus on expands. This is why Shi Heng Yi emphasizes mindfulness. Paying attention to where your energy goes, ask yourself, what do you give your attention to each day? Is it negativity, drama, endless scrolling, comparison, or is it peace, growth, compassion, presence? Healing your mind is not only about adding practices, but also about removing what poisons it. Limit what drains you. Choose what nourishes you. Protect your attention as you would protect your most precious treasure. And here's something many forget: the body and the mind are not separate. They are one. What you eat, how you move, how you sleep, all of it shapes your mental state. When the body is tense, the mind becomes restless. When the body is weak, the mind becomes fatigued. Healing the mind also means caring for the body. Shi Heng Yi often combines movement, breathing, and stillness to align body and mind. Even simple practices, stretching, walking in nature, mindful breathing, restore balance. Treat your body with respect, and your mind will thank you. But perhaps the most profound teaching is this: healing is not about becoming someone else. It is about remembering who you truly are, beneath the noise, the pain, the fear. At your core, you are not broken, you are not weak, you are not defined by your struggles. You are awareness itself, limitless, unshakable, eternal. Your true nature is peace, but it has been buried under layers of fear, doubt, and conditioning. Healing is not about adding something new, it is about peeling away those layers until your true self shines again. Imagine a diamond buried in mud. The mud may cover it, making it seem dull, worthless, but the diamond is still there, untouched, unbroken. All it needs is cleaning. You are that diamond. Your pain, your mistakes, your struggles. These are the mud. They may cover your brilliance, but they cannot destroy it. Healing your mind means washing away the mud, patiently, lovingly, until your true brilliance is revealed. And remember this: you are never too late to heal. It doesn't matter how many years you've carried pain, it doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made, the present moment is always fresh, always new, always available. As Shi Heng Yi reminds us, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Begin now. No matter your past, healing begins with the choice you make in this moment. So pause, breathe, feel the ground beneath you, feel the breath in your lungs, feel your heart beating. This is life, this is presence, this is your power. You are alive, and as long as you are alive, healing is possible. Every human heart carries stories untold. Some of those stories are beautiful, filled with joy and love. Others are painful, stitched with loss, betrayal, or loneliness. And whether we speak of them or not, those stories live within us. They shape our behavior, our choices, our outlook on life. Healing your mind means giving those stories space, not to drown in them, but to honor them, to learn from them, and then to set them free. Shi Heng Yi often reminds us that holding on to pain is like carrying a burning coal. The longer you hold it, the more it hurts. And yet so many of us clutch our pain, unwilling to let go. Healing is the courage to open your hand, to drop the coal, and to walk forward lighter, freer. One of the most overlooked practices in healing is self-compassion. We are taught to be kind to others, to forgive others, to support others, but rarely are we taught to treat ourselves with the same gentleness. Think about how you speak to yourself when you fail, when you make mistakes, when you feel weak. For many, the inner voice is cruel, harsh, unforgiving. But healing cannot grow in a soil of self-hatred. You must water the soil of your mind with kindness. Every day, speak to yourself as you would to a child learning to walk, with patience, with encouragement, with unconditional love. Shi Heng Yi speaks about the inner garden. Your mind is like a garden, and your thoughts are seeds. Each thought you repeat waters a certain seed. If you constantly think of fear, doubt, and anger, those weeds grow strong, choking the beauty within. But if you plant seeds of peace, gratitude, and resilience, your garden flourishes. Healing your mind is an act of gardening. Every day you choose which seeds to water. Every day you choose whether to let weeds take over or to nurture the flowers. And the miracle is this: no matter how overgrown your garden has become, with care, with patience, with effort, it can always be restored. But here's the challenge. Healing does not mean your life will become free of pain. Pain is part of the human experience. What changes is your relationship with pain. Imagine standing in the rain. At first you resist, you run for shelter, you complain, you feel uncomfortable. But then imagine choosing to stand still, to close your eyes, to let the rain wash over you. Suddenly, the rain is no longer your enemy. It becomes cleansing, even beautiful. Pain is like the rain. You cannot avoid it forever. But when you stop resisting, when you learn to stand with it, it loses its power to control you. Resilience is born from this shift. True resilience is not pretending you are unbreakable. It is knowing you can bend without breaking. It is knowing that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you can rise again. Shi Heng Yi often uses nature as a teacher. Consider the tree in winter, stripped of its leaves, exposed to cold winds. It looks lifeless, but deep inside, life remains. When spring returns, the tree blossoms again. In the same way, no matter how empty you may feel now, no matter how hopeless, life remains within you. Your spring will come. To reach that spring, discipline and surrender must work together. Discipline gives you the strength to keep practicing, to keep showing up for yourself, even on hard days. Surrender gives you the humility to let go of control, to trust the process, to allow healing to unfold in its own time. Too much discipline without surrender becomes harshness. Too much surrender without discipline becomes passivity, but together they form balance, strength and softness, effort and ease. This balance is at the heart of Shi Heng Yi's teachings. Think for a moment about your own journey. How many times have you doubted yourself? How many times have you felt stuck, believing you will never change, and yet here you are, listening, seeking, learning. That alone proves your resilience. Healing is not about erasing your struggles, it is about seeing them differently. The very pain that once broke you can become the teacher that transforms you. The very darkness that scared you can become the ground from which your light shines brighter. Shi Heng Yi often tells us, do not be afraid of the dark. Without darkness, the stars cannot shine. Let your struggles remind you of your strength. Let your wounds remind you of your courage. And let your healing remind you of your purpose. Because healing is not only for you, it is for everyone you will touch, everyone you will inspire, everyone you will comfort with your light. Imagine this. You are walking through a dense forest. The path is unclear, the night is dark, and fear surrounds you. But in your hand, you hold a lantern. At first, the light seems small, almost useless, compared to the vast darkness. But as you continue walking, step by step, the light guides you. You cannot see the whole path, but you can see the next step. That is enough. Healing is your lantern. It may not remove the darkness, but it shows you the next step, and that is all you need. One step at a time. Now let's return to the breath, the simplest, most powerful tool you carry with you at all times. Your breath is the bridge between body and mind, between chaos and peace. When you are anxious, your breath becomes shallow and fast. When you are calm, your breath is deep and steady. By controlling your breath, you control your state of mind. Shi Heng Yi teaches simple breathing techniques that can calm storms within minutes. Inhale deeply, hold for a moment, exhale slowly, repeat. With each breath, imagine exhaling the pain, the fear, the noise. With each inhale, imagine drawing in strength, peace and light. This is not imagination, it is transformation. Your breath is medicine. Healing also requires courage to face the truth. Many of us escape through distractions, work, entertainment, substances, endless busyness. But true healing comes when you stop running and look directly at your pain. It is terrifying at first, but when you face it, you realize it does not destroy you. It teaches you. It frees you, like a shadow that disappears when you shine light on it. Your pain loses power when you face it with awareness, and in that moment, healing begins. Finally, remember that healing is not a destination, it is a lifelong journey. You will continue to grow, to learn, to face challenges. There will always be new storms, new struggles, but each time you will rise stronger, wiser, more compassionate. Healing is not about becoming perfect, it is about becoming whole, embracing every part of yourself, light and dark, strength and weakness, joy and sorrow. So, as we close this first part of the journey, carry these truths with you. You are not broken, you are not alone, you are capable of healing, of rising, of transforming. The techniques of Shi Heng Yi are not magic spells, they are daily practices, breath, awareness, compassion, resilience, that anyone, including you, can embody, and as you practice them, as you allow them to shape you, you will discover something extraordinary. The mind that once imprisoned you will become the key to your freedom. Take a deep breath now, feel the air entering your body, filling you with life, feel the exhale, releasing what no longer serves you. This is healing, this is your beginning, and this journey has only just started.